Alright, today we have a 2006. It's a Ford Expedition with a 5.4 liter engine. Customer complaint is that obviously the check engine light, as you can see, is on. Also through this center over here it comes up with a forced limited power. When you drive the vehicle, you step on the accelerator, it barely moves at all. So what we did is we actually scanned the vehicle. Let me just go back. The customer complains that while driving the vehicle on a highway, they felt like a bucking sensation. And then after the bucking sensation started, they slowed down, shut the vehicle off, started it back up, the light went off, they drove it, the light came back on again, and it won't go more than like maybe 5 miles an hour if you're lucky. And the engine is racing like crazy. So what we did is we obviously going to connect our scan tool up to it to see what was going on with it. After we connected the scan tool, it's pretty obvious what the problem is. The first code here is a P0720, is the output speed sensor circuit fault. The next one is the sensor itself, no signal. These other codes here are most likely going to be false codes, because when this sensor goes bad, or the plug is no good, or harness is no good, usually the transmission will stop shifting as it's supposed to, because the speed sensor sends a signal to the computer how to shift. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go underneath the vehicle. We're going to go down by the transmission, and we're going to check. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to check the speed sensor, the output speed sensor. It's on the transmission. We're going to check that to see what the wiring looks like and what the sensor itself looks like. So let me set this vehicle up on the lift, and we'll get underneath it and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, we now have the vehicle up on the lift so I can actually spin the wheels. What I want to do is I want to clear the codes out of the system and see if the code returns. So what I did with my scan tool is I went into it and I cleared the codes out, and we're going to start it up and see now if the codes return. Right now we got the vehicle in gear, and just going to let the wheels spin a little bit, and we're going to see if that code returns, because this code here, sometimes it could be an intermittent code where it'll happen and then it may not happen again, which looks like it might be the case now, because I got the wheels spinning, the transmission appears to shift. Transmission appears to shift. Try it again. Alright, transmission is shifting. And the code didn't return yet, so we do have an intermittent issue here. I guess the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go down underneath by the transmission. We're going to disconnect that the sensor, and we're going to check the resistance. From what I recall, a good sensor, the resistance should be anywhere from like 4 to 700 ohms or something like that. So I'm going to check it on the computer, and we'll get down there and we're going to check it. So let me grab some tools and we'll come right back. Okay, now we got the truck up on the lift, and then just so you know, on this particular vehicle, the vehicle speed sensor is underneath on the transmission, on the back half of the transmission, around where the shifter linkage goes into the trans. I'll show you. I just want to bring out one thing to you. We're going to need an ohm meter to check the resistance on the sensor, and we're also going to need some electrical plugs, because on the side of the switch it's going to be hard to get in there with these ends here to try to check the resistance. So let me get underneath the truck, and I'm going to show you exactly where it is. This is on the passenger side of the truck itself. I'm sorry, this is on the driver's side of the truck. And if you look right up underneath here, I'm going to get this light up in here. This switch right here is the one that we're talking about. So what you're going to do is you're going to get underneath here, right on the bottom right here, there's a plug. You just pull down on this lock tab, and you'll hear it click, and you rock it, and you pull it off. Quite common is if you look at these electrical contacts in here, you'll see a lot of corrosion on these contacts. In here, it's going to be hard to see anything in there because of the position that it's in. Check your harness to make sure there's no damage to your harness. And in this case here, the harness looks like it's in pretty decent condition. The harness does run around up to the front of the transmission up here and then up. That appears to be in good shape. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go in here with those plugs that I showed you, and we're going to connect onto it, and we're going to check the resistance. So let me put these plugs on there. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to try to get in here with these plugs, and you put it onto the pins. You're going to have to go by feel because I don't think you're going to be able to see. All right, there we go. We got one of them on there. All right, and then we're going to grab the second one. And we're going to try to get the second one on there too. Again, you got to go by feel, so have patience. As you can see, it's not really easy to get in there. Okay, here we go. Alright, and we're on. We have both of them on there now. Now what we're going to do is on this end of the wire, we're going to put our ohm meter on there, and we're going to check the resistance. Let me grab my ohm meter, and we'll do that now. These are the wires right there. We're going to turn on our ohm meter, and we're going to just connect in to the ends of these wires like this. And then we're going to see what our reading is going to be. Like I said, a normal sensor should probably be around 400 to 600 or 700. This one here is actually right where it belongs. 4.3, 439. So we're actually, the sensor is actually showing that it's okay, but it is an intermittent failure. So in this particular case, we're going to take a gamble, and we're going to try changing that sensor on the side up there because it is an intermittent failure. So let me just show you real quick how we're going to do that. Fairly easy sensor to do. Once you get your hands up in there, it's not too bad. What we're going to do is, these wires we could take off again. We're not going to need these. We're just going to pull them off. And then what you can do is, right, let me see if I get my camera up there. Sorry about that. Right on the side there, you see this little 10mm bolt? We're going to take that 10mm bolt out, and we're going to pull this sensor out of the truck. So let me grab a 10mm ratchet, and we're going to remove that sensor. Come right back. Let me get some tools. Okay, to take out the sensor, I was wrong. It's an 8mm nut that holds this into the transmission. We just loosen it up, and then we take out the nut. Let's see. You might wind up with a little bit of fluid leaking out of here, so you want to try to get your replacement in there pretty quickly. Take the bolt all the way out. Right. And just so you know, this is the replacement sensor for it. Alright, and it comes with the bracket on it already. So we're gonna pull the other one out, and we're gonna put this one right in. So let's see how that goes. You just turn it and pull it at the same time, and it looks like no fluid's coming out. All right, we're gonna put the replacement back in. Push it all the way in. Catch that bolt that we previously took out. Screw it in by hand as far as you can. And then once you got it screwed down by hand as far as you can, then you'll get on there with the ratchet and just snug it in. You don't have to go real tight because you're going into aluminum. So you just turn it until it's snug. That's it. And last but not least is plug your plug back in and listen for that snap when you know when it's locked in place. Alright, and you can feel it lock in. Alright, that's it. Alright, let's lower the vehicle down. We're going to clear the codes out of it, and we're going to road test it, and we'll see how it goes. Alright, we'll lower it down. We'll come right back. Okay, after driving it, everything seems to be okay. The trans is shifting properly. The speedometer is working just as it should. That's it. Another well done job. All right, any questions, any comments, any concerns that you have, any help you need with anything, just drop me a line. I'll be more than happy to respond back to you. All right, thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Okay, one thing I might add too is that once that check engine light comes on and you notice that your transmission is not shifting properly, don't drive it. The more you drive it, the more damage you're going to do to the trans. So ideally, if it starts to slip and you feel something not quite right, get it in, get it checked on a computer, and take care of it in the early stages. It'll avoid putting a very expensive transmission into it. All right, thanks for watching. See you guys on the next one.